Folks, welcome back to this interesting session. This is going to be about how to make work not suck. I know it sucks life out of a lot of us, and we are still finding ways to derive meaning and purpose out of work. In this session, we will try to understand how work doesn't have to suck, but let's make it succeed instead. Sorry for the bad puns. I know I suck as a moderator. So I would like to call the moderator for this session, who is Sashi on stage. He's a product marketing manager at KEKA, been a very helpful and inspiring colleague to me as well. So Sashi, this is going to be a very interesting topic. We are done with Fun Friday. We are done with the HR burnout, how to overcome it. So let's have you drive this session now. Please take over, Sashi.
Hey, thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for the kind words and the kind introduction. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to another interesting session at HR Catalyst. The topic for discussion right now is how to make work not suck. I know it's a very quirky topic, but it is also a very pertinent one as well, especially in the SME industry, wherein you have a very limited number of employees, and each employee's success, each employee's work, their productivity, it directly translates to organizational success. So interestingly, in one of our previous sessions, Ms. Kanika Khurana, who is the chief of staff at Charge.B, was mentioning a point in terms of, what are the conversations that they have on a day-to-day basis at the founder's office. So one interesting thing that she has mentioned was they have this question every week stating that, are the employees excited to come to work this week or this day? So which establishes the gravity of the situation and the gravity of the topic, that work should be interesting, work should be fulfilling, work should be purposeful. So on one hand, when you see the entrepreneurs, the business leaders in the SME segment, they are very driven, they have a purpose. Every day they come to office to make a difference. And at the same time, you have employees in the same organization, the colleagues, they sit out of the same office, but a lot of them have complaints in terms of, the Monday blues, not finding fulfillment at work, and a lot of other reasons. So today we are going to discuss about why is there such a huge gap in terms of, the way we look at work. So I have with me our esteemed panelists, Dr. GP Rao and Mr. Anish. I would like to welcome them on stage. Hello, Mr. Anish.
Hi, good
Dr.
evening,
GP Rao.
Shashidhar.
Yes. So we have Mr. Anish Arvind, who is a HCM professional with over 2 decades of learnings from across the industries such as manufacturing, IT, and FMCG. Since 2015, he has been very active, and his focus has been on enabling IT, companies, especially in the Kerala region, and all over India, by enabling the business leaders, to design and generate results from their talent. So welcome aboard, Mr. Anish, and
Yes,
we
sir.
have Dr. GP Rao. Yes.
Hi.
We have Dr. GP Rao, who has, worked for more than 30 years in the HR domain. He has worked with companies such as Steel Authority of India, JK Group. He has been with the Birlas. He has been with the Reliance Group, both out of India and Malaysia. He has received a number of awards, including the Outstanding Contribution Award from the National HRD Network, HR Professional of the Year, and also he has gotten awards. which are at Colombo and New Delhi as well. Okay, so over to you, Dr. Rao, to kind of further set the context, for the topic for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shashi. Happy to be with Anish. I must compliment KEKA HR for taking it this topic. See, this topic has been relevant, but today it is more relevant. See,
Absolutely.
over the last 3, 4 years, the work has changed. What was work for some employee 5 years ago, for the same role, the work has changed. Workplace has changed. No, people are talking about not just working from home or working from office or working from customer places, working from anywhere. So work has changed and workplace has changed. On the top of it, the data shows very alarming. You go to any doctor, you talk about the number of cases from the corporate world, they say it's all related to mental illness and all related to something out of work. So the cases are very alarming. So I think it's what is the fun? See, all of us are supposed to do our karma. Somebody is an entrepreneur, somebody is an employee, somebody is a professional. All of us have to do our duties, and work is our duty. And how can duty kill us? I mean, this is not acceptable. So we must all together diagnose the problems, that why at all work is sucking, or you feel that it is sucking. Sometimes it could be a perception. And who is responsible? Is it the employee, or is it the organization, or both, or it is something to do with the environment, the society as a whole? I think it's a good topic. I would rather request Shashi, if you can point out a few specific things which you want to debate and discuss. Anish and I will be very happy to contribute and share our thoughts. I think it's better you start. What are the things we should discuss today?
Definitely, Dr. Rao. So I would start with one question, wherein a lot of us employees, the moment Monday comes in, the topic of Monday blues just comes into the picture. So, given this context, how can we redefine the perception of Monday blues and turn it into an exciting week to start?
Very interesting. I was talking to people in Indigo. They said there is nothing like a Monday. We work 365 days. For somebody, it starts on Tuesday, somebody it is Sunday, somebody it is first shift, somebody night shift. So basically, what we are saying is the day one of the week. Day one of the week. Day one. That's what we meant when we baby Monday blues. Because when Monday comes, no, there is a sadness, there is anxiety, or there is an apprehension, there is a fear. All those things are there, and we must reverse it. When the day one of our week starts, people should get excited to go to the workplace, to meet their colleagues, to satisfy their monetary needs, their psychological needs, their social needs. That is what is to be done both by the employee and by the organization. That means your weekend has finished, you have done whatever is required to be done, the week starts, you go there to enjoy, have fun, have satisfaction of going there. So that is the reversal should happen. Anish, you want to add anything on that? Monday blues?
No, so I think it will catch up in the sessions. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I mean,
Okay.
so we'll continue in the discussion.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for
Great.
setting the context.
Yes. Mr. Anish, I have a different question for you.
It's
Something where I've seen a lot of employees, ask themselves, their managers as well. They have very tight deadlines to meet. They have KPIs, they have KRAs. They have targets to achieve every day, every month. So,
Mhm.
given that context, how do you balance the need for productivity and meeting KPIs with creating an environment where work is enjoyable? How do you balance these things?
okay. I'm going to take a step back and I will kind of reframe this thing as see, this balance thing that we have been talking about is kind of it's an old school thing. So, what is happening is, or what we should design it as integration, kind of. So, because we can't uh, be not alive and then work, right? So life or life per se is to be is there as a part of, because only then you can work. So that integration is a better word in maybe in the 21st century to look at this. And now how do you to integrate? So let's see. We'll go back to see what science has been talking about it. So I'm going to place a link here in the feed so you all can look at the the TED talk. Maybe after this, and so I'm going to take a summary of the talk. So this is a talk from 1999, 97, 98 is when this book came out. Daniel Pink, the author, talks about the fact that human beings are motivated by three things. That is, um, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And it explains it. So now, once we get this group of people to come to a cause, like we said, the SMEs are all looking at a purpose. Once they come in, and then we are able to figure out what is needs for them, and then it becomes a exemplary employee experience. And for them, it is no longer a deadline. It is not a deadline for them. It's an enjoyable kind of work. Um, so that's the first part of it. And so work becomes play for them, and so even and it's no longer something as a separate. So like if I go back to that, there's no because they're raring to go on a Monday. So when this thing happens, and there is a coincidence of their purpose and the work that they're supposed to do, so it's very, very important in that sense. So that's my opening part on this.
Dr. Rao, would you like to add to that
Yeah.
question?
Yes,
We would like to know your
I have
thoughts.
learned something very different during the last 3 years. Earlier, we were drawing an X and Y axis. An X axis we used to write work, and Y axis we used to write life. Then we used to say if work is 7, so life is 3. So if it is work is 6, the life is 4. So now it is clarified that it is a 10-10 matrix. You can give 10 by 10 to work and 10 by 2 10 by work. So it is not total of 10, it is 10 plus 10. So that is one revelation I got. The second one, what Anish said, what is the question of balancing? See, work is part of life. Life is a larger picture, right? The life, it has to be integrated. We can't leave out our feelings of home while you're at work. No, the reverse doesn't happen. So we all have learned to integrate. We should do it more. So it's a good point. I really like what Anish said.
Thank you, sir.
Great. And one particular announcement to all the audience over here. We are live with the polls. You can see on the right hand side. So we would love to know your thoughts as well. Okay. So keep answering the polls. So coming to the next question, Dr. Rao. So in terms of finding a purpose, so let's say we as employees, okay, if we have to do something great at a workspace, we need to find a purpose. You know, how do employees find a purpose and fulfillment at work?
I was talking to the Philips management. They said two things they will ensure. They said there is a common purpose. Number two, every employee has a feeling that he or she has contributed directly to the organization. So then I just went ahead and then started discussing how do you do that? It's very easy said than done. So this comes in integrating individual objective with the organizational objectives. This is number one. Number two is ensuring that this purpose is shared from top to the bottom. Top to the bottom. Number three, when they do goal setting, it is not always on the targets, productivity, quality, or a safety and all. It also on their personality development, their health development, their individual development, their career development. That also should be a part of a goal which an individual takes and the organization supports. So then it is both professional and personal. So that is another good step I have seen. And the most important is end of the day, everybody at the quarter end, half year end, annual end, I have done this for the organization, will be able to visibly see that contribution in the link. So that's one thing I have learned from one company. But in generally, you will see the purpose. So I'm just little talking about the shortfalls or pitfalls. The purpose, core values, they sometimes remain in the boardroom, sometimes remain in the posters and pamphlets. So we must take it to the lowest level. Everybody should talk the same language. Suppose you say customer is supreme. If some organization says, so everybody should understand that and should know how to do that, and he should get rewarded for doing that, and there should be a penalty for not doing that. Then it get institutionalized. So this is something I have learned, how purpose is established and institutionalized, and people are integrated with that. So this is one learning I thought I'll share.
Great, Dr. Rao.
Shashi,
So my
can I
next,
add something on
yes,
to what
definitely. So
on the purpose piece? So if I look at an SME company, which I am now the interim CHRO of, we have actually coined a purpose statement and a purpose short word. I think it's kind of a tagline. So it's there on our website. It's there on everything that we do. So in this case, it is C electric automotive drives. We are kind of saying the purpose is to in the short form, it is to design e-mobility. So we are a company which is into designing the automobiles for electric vehicles, the motor controllers. So electrifying the future of traction is the purpose statement. So what this does is, anybody, when we go for hiring and all, it is ideal candidates for us are the people who already know what we are going to do. This is a 4-year-old company. So that helps only those people. We are able to shortlist those people or see those people who are already aligned with our core purpose. So whether it is roles, whatever it is, it can be HR or operations or R&D and all the core. So that's one way where we can portray this, and they're living their purpose. So and it's like this. For another example, we are saying we're playing cricket, and only people who will get to see, if I raise a bat, then they will know that it's a cricket bat. So that alignment happens, so that we're able to attract. And so that part I wanted to add on the purpose piece. I mean,
And
thank you, sir, for
Shashi, yeah, Anish, very good point. Shashi, for example, I worked in Reliance for long. We say growth is life. Simple, no? Everybody understands, no? You don't require a dictionary to understand, no? Growth is life. And everybody understand, for example, in polyester grew 27% CAGR for 22 years. So people see that growth. No, people can feel that growth, no? So sometimes, no, it's not the purpose, whether I know what is the purpose or not, whether I am a part of the purpose, whether I'm able to contribute to that purpose, then
yeah.
the fun comes. Then the fun comes.
great. So that brings to my next question in terms of, what are the challenges that you see in which are like kind of impeding this part, saying, uh, work is more stressful. Okay. So we want to make work enjoyable, but there are different challenges which make the work stressful. So what are those challenges in your perspective, and how do companies overcome them?
Okay. I'll just use some Hindi words. Huh? See, people come for three things. No? One is dam, I mean, money. You are paid for your contribution. The other is calm. The calm has to be interesting. The work has to be interesting. It should give you the kick. It should give you the opportunity to uh, magnify or articulate your strengths or use your potential and all. The last is they also want NAM. No? There is some recognition they want. So all three should be there. If the company recognize these three, that this is what everybody now, of course, in IT language they use a different jargons, like when the great resignation happens. No, I was talking to friends in IT, Infosys, Wipro, Genpact, Tech Mahindra, all those people were talking. They said, what exactly the people want, have you analyzed? So whatever they have given me, in one of the round table, I could coin three words with their help. They said the IT guys need three things. One is the grace, that is respect again, once again, the norm. The another is space. They want flexibility. I mean, even a rigid monitoring, rigid structures, rigid policies, rigid target. Oh, so they do not want. Then the third one, they want peace. No, you come here, there's a peace of mind. Yeah, I should not get perturbed, disturbed, frustrated coming here. That's what I said. So what can be done is, now I'll give two things: one from the individual point of, one from the organization point of view. Individual in the that money part, no, first part, no, he should limit to the need and should not get into the greed. See, if you want, you become greedy, then what will you do? You will do overtime, you want to do stretchful work, you will do longer hours work, you will choose such a job which gives you more money. So that greed limit, somewhere they must understand. They said, okay, it meets my need enough. So this is one. Now, from the company point of view, so I will give you an example of an auto company, large auto company, where there's an IR problem. When we discussed with the workers, we talked about three. Again, I'm using three Hindi words, I'll translate. The worker level, they wanted only three. They wanted thali, that means have tea with me. Idea is have tea with me, have food with me. And then the theli, I mean, that is the packet and envelope, that is money. Money. The third one, the thali. Thali is, if I had done a good job, there should be some recognition clap. The manager must understand the composition of that. So no one is only one. It's a combination of all three, let's say 100. You must understand that this breed of people, 50, the Tali need is 50, Theli need is 30. You must understand that, because you can't buy somebody's loyalty with money when his need is recognition. Similarly, somebody's need is money. Just by clapping, it doesn't work with him. So, from the managers must understand. We use the word parakhna, understand, recognize the exact need and the composition of need and which need on the top. That understand. From the employee must have that borderline between what you need, how much you need, money, and it should not get into a greed situation, and you'll get into a vicious circle of getting sucked into the work. I hope I made some points.
Definitely, Dr. Mr. Anish, would you like to add anything to it? So, in terms of
Yeah.
what are the biggest
I'll go to the
challenges?
solutions part directly. The how to overcome part. I think we'll take some examples. And so, some of the, again, I'm going back to the science piece of it and saying that once we increase freedom of choice and then put them into a responsibility, that enables their contribution. I like the way Dr. Rao brought in the word contribution in the previous discussion.
Yeah.
So we are trying to, what we are whether it is an SME or MSME or large company, what we are trying to do is to get humans to produce results for the business, or humans to results as a, that's what we're all here to do. The HR can play a good catalyst role in doing that. And so enable choices or increase options in, so I can give examples of, for example, open vacations in terms of leave. It's what the company where C Electric has a open. We had a tough time to convince them what this all means. It took about a year for them to sink in that, okay, actually you can take any number of leaves. And so this is that. So that's one example. And then tech enabling the collaboration aspect, because this is in the last, it's a 4-year-old company, so last 3 years has been on the COVID side. So we've got all through that. We use this tool called monday.com to get people together, and they've tracked the KPIs and others, and so it's visible to all. They're all in different places. There is people in Karnataka, Kerala also, 2 or 3 locations. And so that's one part of, so tech enabling collaboration is one. And then, see, when we early, Dr. Rao also spoke about, we cannot ignore the life part of it, of any contributor. So how can a company play a catalyst to some of those life aspects as well? If you are employing, let's say, Shashidhar, there is a whole person of Shashidhar that you need to, only then the contribution, like what happened in the video that I shared, no, that will happen. So Daniel Pink uses the example of how Wikipedia has grown. over the last 10, 15 years, say 2 decades or so. How, and it is all done by contribution from people who are not looking at money. So that means it's possible to do that, and it is so it's for us to enable that. That's the these are the things I thought I'll bring in as actually look at. So and for the last part, I'm sorry, I mean the supervisors. That's where they're the key catalyst. So the HR's role would be to enable or facilitate them and help them, and be and make sure that the teams are connected, especially in this remote working kind of a situation. So technology does give a lot of tools, but using those tools, a lot of supervisors would need coaching around that and telling them, and then making sure that what's in it for them. For that. So that part would be a good way to make as a overcome some of those challenges as you mentioned.
Got it, Mr. Anish.
As regards the strategy, Shashi, I have spoken to different people of different sectors, different sizes during the last 1 week, preparing myself for today's discussion. So I just bucketed them, what all they're doing. They say an employee will feel great or he will feel less suck. See that it cannot be zero, no. After all, when you work, no, it takes out some of your energy, no. I mean, you have to give your time, you have to give your energy. There is a work, no. I mean, after all, nothing. You will not do anything. No, when you go to work, you have to work. No. So that's fine. So only thing, it should not pain you. They are doing three things. I mean, if you bucket it, later I can give you examples. They put three things. One is company is enabling me to grow through competency development, motivation development, climate development, everything, whether my physical fitness, my mental fitness. One is the whole thing is around enablement. That means so that I'm getting stronger physically, professionally, psychologically. So that is one they've done. The second one they have done is very clearly, while dealing with millennials, particularly millennials, they said they need empowerment. And empowerment is not delegation of powers. No, it's a greater realization. I also thought 20 years ago, empowerment means delegation of authority. No, I've realized, I learned, now I'm seeing in practice. They are using three simple formula of Dr. Uday Parikh. Said empowerment is giving direction, giving autonomy, giving support. The employee should get that feeling that things are clearer here, expectations are clearer, roadmap is clear, policies are clear, SOP is clear, when a road GPS is clearer. So that is the number two is autonomy. That means while there is a rigidity on the target, the path is not rigid. That's what they want. They are not saying change the targets for us. They're not asking. They also are part of the organization. They also want the organization to grow. They are asking for the flexibility and the path. The third they say is the supervisor must give me feeling that he's available to me for help and support. The feeling is more important. So that is on the empowerment. I'll give you examples where you go along. The third one is a lot of work is happening on engagement. Engagement is not exactly earlier engagement is a birthday celebration and all. It is so much. I'm surprised that my son works in an MNC. He says I will better go to office and watch the football match there. I mean, these things, I think I'm sure about watching there rather than watching at home. I mean, that kind of engagement, no? So people want to watch matches, people want to play, people want to go to gym, people want to learn music, people want to sing, people want to do a little entrepreneurship, people want to do a little community service. Companies are helping you, okay, you want to do this, okay, we'll help you in doing this. So that means they're helping us to actualize our certain desires, certain psychological needs. We got that, we are getting fulfilled. So I feel like going home, I'm excited to go to office because these the company is providing all this. So these are the three buckets: the engagement bucket, the empowerment bucket, and enablement bucket. Broadly it covers 90%. So as you go along, we'll talk about some examples also. Thank you, Shashi.
Great. So, Dr. Rao, you have mentioned about a very interesting point that all the organizations are concerned about right now is the millennial and the Gen Z workforce. So, first thing is that the Gen Z workforce, the organizations and the community feels that there is a disconnect between what their aspirations are, okay, what they want, as a person, what purpose means to them, what fulfillment means to them, and to compound this challenge, we have hybrid work environments, we have remote work environments, which further distances them with the main management. So in this context of hybrid work environment and remote work environment, how can organizations maintain a positive and fulfilling work culture?
See, one is the theory that expectation, clarity, and all. The other is actual practice. Supervisor is the person who gets into conversation with his team member. We call it samvad. He will know what exactly he's bringing to the table, because it's a common, we say all millennials are agile. Some may be, some may not be. He knows, does he bring agility? The second one I have seen, they bring a lot of creativity. They bring a lot of creativity. Third, they are saying is they are more tech savvy, they are more digital. That's good. Then they are more mobile. They're mobile. So these things they are bringing. So in your team members, find out who is strong at these things, and what they want. Also, you should understand. They want flexibility. That's very clear. They want clarity of job. They don't want the gray things. No, they very clearly, you want this job to be done. This should be done today at this cost with these people. Everything should be very clear. So nothing for they don't like ambiguity. No, they don't like ambiguity. They can't work in ambiguous thing. Earlier days, people liked ambiguity. Then they said that, oh, I deciphered and do it. They want clarity. They want flexibility. They want respect. They want very clear. I mean, you can't shout at me, because they are not afraid of a job. They will just leave a job. That's it. So, I mean, there's no fear of losing job is not there. I mean, if it comes to that. So they will not compromise respect. They will never do that. So this, we should know when you do samvad, conversation with them. Theoretically, you can say, okay, these are the three things they want. The supervisor must understand, maybe a skip level understanding, continuous conversation with them, talk to them what thrills them, what kills them, what bothers them, what excites them. Talk to them and find out. And it's possible to do. I mean, you see young organizations, Tech Mahindra, TCS, they're all working with almost IT companies. They're working with young people, all these new wave companies. They work with young people and they are doing wonders. They are doing wonders. So even older companies, I was in JK Cement yesterday. So they are talking about their millennials. They're discussing about the millennials. Whereas our perception is they're old companies, average age behind. No, they're consciously they're working on inclusion, taking people, women, they're taking LGBT, they're taking youngsters, they're working with them. I met a unit head who is 31 years old. 31
31
years
years.
old, you can't think about those in a traditional company. But people are sensitive to them, and they want to take the best out of the millennials. That is, they are more creative, they are more agile, they are more digital and tech savvy, and they are more mobile. So that's an advantage we have with them. They want to leverage that.
Right. Noted. So thanks for those inputs, Dr. Rao. Mr. Anish, would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah, so you mentioned about the remote working part. No? So if we go back to
Right.
what I said earlier, we understanding the whole person and connecting the strengths of that individual to the role. This is where in a remote working we might need the help of technology to do this. And my mantra would be like use technology to increase the touch portion of whether it is through supervisor, as Dr. Rao said, and I mean HR again playing the catalyst. It's nice that we have put the name of this whole event as HR Catalyst. And in fact, we have rolled out a framework called HR Catalyst. It says a website also on this. HR can play a role of a catalyst. So tech plus human, so increase that touch. So that is what would ensure that they are continuously contributing to those business success. And it's and when that happens, see the positiveness, when the positiveness is recognized as well, so that you link your rewards and recognition programs with those, so that better contributors are recognized, so the positive and the psychological trust also increases, and saying that my company cares for me. And regardless, so another, see, whether we like it or not, for the next 25 odd years, our average age in our country is going to be less than 35. Now it's around 29, I guess, and it's going to be between 29 and 35 till 2050. So that means the brain science around how this category of people behave, HR needs to be constantly updated on what are the latest in brain science around, what is the science throwing up around how to connect to them, and these can change. So continually being connected is very important, and resources are available at the fingertips now. So those are the couple of things I wanted to add on to what Rao sir said. Thank you for setting the
No,
context
no.
again.
I wanted to give one clarification. I said too many times supervisor to supervisor, but preparing the supervisor is the job of the
It is
HR.
yes, yes,
Preparing the employee the job of the HR. HR is a greater
absolutely.
role, greater role. One clarification. The second clarification I want to do is we're discussing about gym, sport, music, everything, assuming that people come to the workplace. Now they're working from anywhere. So HR has to design, innovate, what, how we'll provide those while he's at home. Um, Getting them that yoga class, getting them that music class, getting them meditation provision, better gadgets, better internet, maybe in integrated company, we call integrated townships, no? In the township itself, we can provide a lot of things, no? So where they stay there. And then there are many people, they do a community living. So, I mean, one company, large number of people are staying in one colony. We can think about providing something, or we can designate some clubs or a community centers. Okay, this is dedicated to this company. Every Sunday you can come here and do it. So we have to innovate all those things, because that needs to be provided, and we have to be sensitive to more sensitive to people who are at home, no, because they got one more factor here. This boss was disturbing their the family members, knowingly unknowingly disturb, and he's also missing out on the social things, no. There are no colleagues, there are no coffee shop, there is no no place to walk, a lot of things. So probably he needs more attention. So HR job is important. So how do we give that engagement feeling while he's at home or he's working from anywhere? I'll just give an example. I think I can name Amazon. The delivery boy, when he delivers, I thought customer rates him. Then I came to know that they rate the customer. That was okay. That is two-third. No, now I'll tell you the last one-third. Now there is a moodometer. Was he happy doing that job? That means every delivery he does, did he enjoy the delivery? That means they are worried whether he's happy or not happy doing the job. Every step. Just see how sensitive they are, because he's working from anywhere. So they are worried. So he should be happy, he should feel good, his mood should be good. So that kind of sensitivity is required.
Got it, Dr. Rao.
Thank you.
So we have a couple of questions from the audience. The first
Okay.
question is how to improve emotional intelligence in the workplace. This question is by Mr. Arun Prakash M, who's the DGM IT and Digital at Microplastics Private Limited. So the question is open to both of you, Dr. Rao and Mr.
Okay.
Anish.
Anish, you start, then I'll add.
Yeah, so I would go slightly more versions of this. Emotional intelligence was one of the earlier approaches. So, but right now, neuroscience has brought in a lot of uh, methods wherein you can actually help to know what excites the individuals. There are assessments that can help understand, and that can enable the supervisor to position the work in a manner that is kind of a what's in it for me for each contributor. So when that connection happens, then there is a it's much more powerful than maybe increasing a special type of intelligence, because they're all here and people want to contribute. They would not want to come in and be laggards. So they don't want, because they assuming that in smaller companies it's not like a large firm wherein you have a lot of contributors. In SMEs you're looking at maybe 20 or 100 people, or maybe 500 in all, and so that means that it's anything that happens is visible, so to the others, and it's a small place. So I would urge the HR professionals today to look at the latest in brain and neuroscience to bring in those angle into connecting the contributors. That's my take on this part of it.
I will answer the question straight. No, our friend wants to know how to improve emotional intelligence in the workplace. So when we say emotional intelligence, is mostly to the individual. Actually, the EQ at an individual level. Individual level. So organizations help them to assess themselves. Where are you at EQ level? If somebody's empathy is low, so they help him to improve empathy. Somebody's interactiveness is low, they help them to do the interactiveness. But I can quote, I mean, this is simple. Help them to make an evaluation where they are and help them to improve those. Again, improvement is based on a person's preferred learning. Somebody improves that by reading. Somebody improves that by doing. Somebody will improve that by watching a video, or somebody will improve only when he's given a mentor or some guide or somebody. So discuss with that person how he wants to improve. That's one. But I can give an example. An organization wide, it should be done as a mission, as a project. Then only it will work. I will give an example of Hero Motocorp in Haridwar. They wanted to cover everybody in a program called Nurturing Workplace Relationship. They don't discuss productivity, safety, targets, nothing. Just how do we improve our individual interpersonal relationship, and using AI also. So HR has to take such things as a project. Then everybody gets covered and it gets implemented. If you leave it to the individual, sometimes it dies down. So I thought one example I give you, and it's working out very well for that unit in Haridwar. That is the largest two-wheeler manufacturing company probably in the world. Shall we
Great.
take the next one? Yeah.
Yeah, we are moving on to the next one. The next question is, most of the employees are well informed, have great knowledge, and it is hard to keep them connected to the company. Their loyalty is different compared to the old time employments. So, how do we keep them connected?
So sometimes no small wordsmithing will help. Tell people, if you know it all, you will stop learning. So come to learn it all. So a small thing, no. Tell people that organization is a place you will do both. You will be doing earning, you will be doing learning. So that small wordsmithing you have to do. Number two, they say is, it, if the moment they come to the learning mode, no, then they want to seek help from people. They want to help people. This is second part. The third part is, tell them time and again and make them do it time and again, that everybody has to integrate both business and relationship. There's nothing like that. You'll only do production, productivity, not taking care of the relation. It doesn't work. Every employee at every level, maybe the proportion may be different. You'll have to do both. And last bit is, give them the stories. Talk about the success stories of people who have succeeded by doing better in the relationship. I can quote my friend from Axis Bank, Raj Kamal. She said, "व्यवहार अच्छा होगा, व्यापार अपना आप अच्छा होगा." He said, if the relationship, your compassion, your passion, your empathy, your empowerment, culture, listening, feedback, if you do all these things better, you will automatically do better in your production, productivity, and all. So if you do that, no, Once they understand this need, they will automatically get connected, remain connected, know from one another, learn from another, seek help from one another. That will help. It gets institutionalized. So it is hard. As you said, it's very hard, but it's possible to do.
So, Shashidhar, my addition would be to show them their contribution, make their contributions visible in a continual manner, and
Yes,
it
that
is
is
their
the stories.
contribution that
Yeah,
would
absolutely.
kind of make them realize, and then they would. That's the because there's no point in keeping people who are not contributing as well, right? So it's and they also don't want to. So it's and loyalty in this century is very different from what it was in the. So if you expect that part, it might not work in that manner. So continually, whoever is contributing. So when you look at retention matrices and things like that, where um,
Yeah.
making it visual, it is a difficult task for a smaller firm to make it do it. But there again, HR has a role in ensuring that these things are right now maybe get into a weekly kind of a level. It's possible to do that with technology now.
So see, simple trick. If you want to talk about people who have failed, people are not able to do, then you have a dilemma. Start showing names of people who have done it, who have contributed. Talk about those. No, we are not saying others are bad or good. We are only talking about people. Strength focused discovery. Ah, contribution focused discovery. Talk about good things people have done. Go on doing it. It doesn't cost us anything. People will forget. It will have a spiraling effect on people, others who may be neutral or who may be backseat, who have got some apprehension. They'll slowly change. That will happen.
Right, got it. So I think recognition remains the key over here, Dr. Rao.
Yes.
Recognition of all their contributions. Thank you. So with this, we are at the end of the session. And thank you, Dr. Rao and Mr. Anish, for your valuable time. Thank you for all
Pleasure
the
is
examples
ours.
that
Yes.
you have given. And I hope the audience have must have had actionable takeaways from this session. And yeah, we are displaying certain polls right now. So that can we display the poll results?
Yes, so this poll has been closed now. There have been 87 votes. And the
Okay.
question was, according to you, how strongly are positive employee experience and work fulfillment related? Most people have gone for the last option, which is that they are strongly related, around 53%. Can we have the next question, please? This poll is still live. At my organization, we have a system that cascades company values and purpose to employees. Second is measures whether employees connect with company values and purpose. Very important again. The poll is still live. We for another 15 seconds.
Okay. Oh, poll is still live. Okay.
Yes.
Shashi, if there is
Yes,
time there while we are waiting for the poll results, one thing you may in your summary you can write. See, the
right.
measure, we always measure the hard results. So we
Mhm.
start now should measure health index, happiness index, harmony index, along with the hard results. As a system, as a system. A system we should do it. And HR should lead it. So all with H. HR, hard results, harmony, health, and happiness. So we
Happen.
must have index and all.
We have the
Definitely.
results for this poll. At my organization, we have a system that cascades company values and purposes to employees. Around 44% believe that they have such a system. And for the next option, around close to 54% believe that they have that option. The last poll, can we have that on the stage, please? This poll is still live for another 15 seconds. Which of the following most strongly contributes to making work fulfilling and exciting? A lot of interesting options there. Challenging and meaningful tasks, work life balance initiatives, attaching a purpose to work. Significant point that was repeatedly mentioned during the discussion. Can we close the poll, please, and have the results displayed? Right. So 105 people voted, and most went for opportunities for growth and advancement, something which Dr. Rao also mentioned. All right, then. We are towards the end of the session. Very insightful session indeed. Thank you, Sashi, for moderating it so brilliantly. Thank you, Dr. Rao, especially your points about millennials not preferring ambiguity, rings very true because we are living in uncertain times. The pandemic has sort of made that very clear. There is a lot of ambiguity around us. So at least at the workplace, let's be clear about what the expectations are, where we are headed, and what the core purpose of the organization is. Thank you, Anish, for the scientific touch to the discussion.
My
Your
pleasure.
insights on neuroscience, especially, were really, illustrative and significant. So, thank you all for the discussion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank,
Thank you,
Thank you
KEKA
so much.
team.
Thank you so much.
thank you. The insights and takeaways that we have got from this discussion, let's share them on LinkedIn by tagging KEKA HR. We saw the erudition of both the speakers, Dr. Rao with especially over 30, 40 years of experience. I think Anish and Dr. Rao were the catalyst for our learning today. They sort of fast forwarded the learning process for all the participants here.
Indeed. Yes.
Next up, we have a session at 7, which is about, is HR responsible for the layoffs? There is a fresh news that we got yesterday that cab aggregator decided to lay off around 200 employees. And guess what? Who were these employees? I think you might not be able to guess it, but these were the recruiters who were laid off. So often we blame the HRs, but the HRs and the recruiters are also the first to go, right? We'll talk about these points during the session at 7 p.m. And before that, right after this session, we have a speed networking session. So let's jump straight into it. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you, Sashi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Best. Bye.
Thank you so much.